Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. NFL agent, Dak Prescott has gained insane leverage over Cowboys. Somewhere, Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott is likely fist-pumping like Tiger Woods on the 18th green at Augusta in 2019. After Detroit Lions quarterback Jared Goff signed a contract extension that will pay him $53 million annually, Prescott is one of the biggest winners across the league as he awaits a deal either with the Cowboys in the coming months or elsewhere next offseason. Each day that passes, Dak's price goes up, a prominent agent familiar with the quarterback market told Heavy, on the condition of anonymity to discuss a player he does not represent. Ahead of the 2024 season, Prescott is set to play out the final year of his contract while counting $55.4 million against the cap, giving him significant leverage in any extension negotiations. Goff's contract puts Dallas in a tough spot, an NFL general manager told Heavy, on the condition of anonymity because he isn't authorized to speak publicly on Prescott. To get a sense of how Goff's new contract will impact Prescott's negotiations and a potential deal with the Cowboys, Heavy spoke to several current agents as well as current and former front office executives around the league to understand a clear picture of how both sides might handle these talks and what an extension might end up looking like. Goff has a 5-4 record with a Super Bowl berth, the GM pointed out. Prescott is just 2-5 in the playoffs and hasn't even gotten to the NFC Championship game. The object of the game is to win the Super Bowl, so Dallas must decide if Dak can win the Super Bowl and pay him accordingly. As things currently stand, Prescott's contract takes up a colossal 21.7% of the Cowboys' salary cap and likely served as a major hindrance to how Dallas approached free agency this offseason. Meanwhile, Goff's new deal comprises 12.6% of Detroit's spending against the cap, according to Spotrac, for the 2024 season. Prescott could potentially reset the quarterback market and surpass the 5-year contract worth $275 million that averages $55 million AAV, which Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals agreed to last summer. If I were representing Dak, we probably wouldn't want to do something right now, the agent told Heavy. The smartest thing to do is to wait until all these other quarterbacks get deals done and then just go and top them all. Prescott and his agent, superagent Todd France, likely aren't in any rush to get back to the bargaining table. That's especially true after reports surfaced earlier this offseason that Prescott and the Cowboys reached an understanding that he would play out the final year of his contract this fall. I think the Cowboys should probably work something out here, the agent suggested. And they probably will. Dak has insane leverage, though. Burrow's deal is best in show, at the moment, and includes $219 million fully guaranteed. A second agent suggests Prescott could emerge with a significantly more lucrative pact. According to the second agent, Prescott's value could be between $65 to $70 million annually. All Goff's deal does is screw the Cowboys even more, they said. If that's Prescott's asking price, there is no incentive whatsoever to settle for anything less, at the moment, especially as the market price continues to rise. Jerry and Stephen Jones obviously want to see Dak lead them to a playoff run before they pay him over $53 million per year, where Goff came in as far as new money goes, former NFL Executive of the Year Jeff Diamond told Heavy, when asked how he would handle the negotiations. Cowboys urged to make quarterback trade doesn't make sense. The Dallas Cowboys have 3 quarterbacks under contract for 2024, but the franchise faces a long-term decision on Trey Lance's future. All this has some wondering whether the Cowboys should move on from Cooper Rush and make Lance the backup quarterback. Lance still has yet to play a snap for the Cowboys since the team gave up a 4th-rounder in a 2023 trade with the San Francisco 49ers. Bleacher Report's Alex Ballentine believes Dallas should either trade or cut Rush in order to save a bit of cap room. The analyst argues that it just doesn't make sense to take on Rush's expense while having Lance on the roster. Moving on from Rush also opens up a potential opportunity to see what the franchise has in Lance. Cooper Rush might not have much trade value, but he did come through for the Cowboys in 2022, Ballantyne detailed in a May 8, 2024 story titled, Cowboys Potential Trade, Cut Candidates After 2024 NFL Draft. He made 5 starts as the backup 2 years ago, going 4-1 and throwing 5 touchdowns to the interceptions. They ended up carrying Lance and Cooper Rush on the active roster. With the new rule that NFL teams can carry a third emergency quarterback without using a 53-man roster spots, it's a little easier to hang on to developmental options. But the Cowboys can save $2.3 million against the cap by either trading or releasing Rush. Given how tight the Cowboys' budget is right now, it just doesn't make sense to pass on that kind of cap savings when Lance has now been around for a year to learn the offense and step in if Prescott is injured. Rush is not exactly expensive by NFL standards, given his 2-year, $5 million contract. The veteran is a bit redundant with Lance on the roster. Rush has a $2.87 million cap hit for 2024. Lance is more expensive with a $5.3 million cap hit this season. The quarterback is entering the final season of a 4-year, $34.1 million rookie contract. Dallas declined Lance's expensive 5th-year option for 2025, which would have had a $22.4 million cap hit. This does not prevent the Cowboys from re-signing Lance next offseason, but the quarterback will be a free agent. Lance, Rush and Dak Prescott are all slated to be free agents in 2025. Prescott's status could change if the Cowboys are able to ink the star to a contract extension. It is hard to imagine Rush would net a sizable return via trade. Yet, Dallas may be able to at least find a late-round selection for the veteran. We do know that Rush generated interest during the 2023 free agency period before ultimately returning to the Cowboys. The Las Vegas Raiders and Cincinnati Bengals were 2 teams who showed an interest in signing Rush, per ESPN's Todd Archer. Could either of these teams still have an interest in landing Rush? While Prescott was sidelined in 2022, Rush started 5 games and appeared in 4 others, throwing for 1,051 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions while completing 58% of his passes. After going 4-1 last season as the Dallas Cowboys' starting quarterback while Dak Prescott recovered from thumb surgery, Rush was a hot commodity in free agency, Archer detailed in an April 4, 2023 story titled, Bad Weather, A Delayed Flight and Kismet? How Cooper Rush's deal with Cowboys got done. He was flying to Las Vegas that day to meet with the Raiders, and the Cincinnati Bengals also expressed interest and hoped to set up a visit. Though the flight was never canceled, Rush never got on the plane. He took a night to sleep on the Cowboys' offer and woke up on St. Patrick's Day with a 2-year deal worth a max of $6 million that included a $1.25 million signing bonus. Former player makes a bold prediction about Ceedee Lamb's future. The Dallas Cowboys are walking a dangerous path again. They're playing the waiting game with Ceedee Lamb, and that's a game they've often lost. Nonetheless, neither Jerry nor Stephen Jones seem willing to change their ways at this point in their lives, even though the players and the way they deal with business have changed a lot over the years. That's why former NFL star Plaxico Burress believes that if the Cowboys don't strike a contract extension with their star wide receiver soon, they don't stand a chance to re-sign him. Talking on The Carton Show, Burress talked about how much Lamb deserved this lucrative deal. Lamb was the second-best wide receiver in the game last season, behind only Tyreek Hill, and he wasn't that far behind him. It seems as if Jerry Jones would rather watch his team implode than either embrace a full-scale rebuild or run it back with this personnel. And while it makes sense to have second thoughts on Dak Prescott after his long history of shortcomings, not having his best weapon happy isn't the wisest decision. The Cowboys enter the offseason with a new offensive line and more questions than answers on both sides of the field. They're not a better team than they were last season, and other than playing for the biggest market in the game, and perhaps in all sports, there's not much of an incentive to stay there for the long run. This is a dangerous game to play, and one a team that hasn't been to the Super Bowl in over 2 decades can't afford to lose. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Ceedee Lamb? Leave your opinion in the comments.